Well, boys, it's back to school, and a lot of parents and a lot of teens are getting a rude awakening. It's that, well, cell phones are being banned, and AI is being heavily scrutinized. And I think that it's worth talking about because, on this channel, we cover how AI is impacting the workforce, and certainly talking about how the next generation is becoming more and more retarded by the day, I think is relevant. And I got to just say straight up, the cell phone bans in schools are absolutely necessary. They are absolutely important, and I am so glad that they are happening. By the way, if you disagree, if you agree, put your comments below. I want to hear from you guys. If you got a great comment, I will pin it to the top, maybe a great story. Because the reality is, guys, that most parents, most teachers, most administrators are in support of the ban, and then most teens are not happy about it. They are frustrated, but again, who cares? Guys, the reason you go to school, well, there's multiple reasons you go to school, but the main reason to go to school is to learn, or to learn how to learn, to get some basic reading, writing, arithmetic. Of course, you want to be able to meet chicks and play sports and stuff like that too. Like, okay, I got you. That's important. But the reality is that, when you go to school, you got to learn. I mean, that's the key. And well, that is not happening. That is not happening, guys. Right now, 8th graders are absolutely in a free fall. 28% of 8th graders are proficient in math. 28%. That means over 70% of 8th graders, they suck at math, guys. Do you think that might be a problem? Do you think that might inhibit your ability to be successful in the workforce? I think so. I think so. And then, 33% of 8th graders are below NAEP basic in reading. So you've got a third of these 8th graders that just can't read good. Okay, and maybe they need to go to Derek Zoolander's school for kids who can't read good. But the reality is, guys, that education system is really falling flat. And I think a big part of that is because cell phones and social media and now AI are becoming more and more infused into our kids' brains. And it's an immense problems. And, the reality is that parents and administratives are stating that by removing the cell phones, you're reducing distractions, you're improving socialization, and you're helping to prevent mental health and screen addiction problems. Like when I was growing up, we didn't have this problem. I just can't imagine what it's like to show up to school, and then everybody in your class is talking about you through social media, not to your face, not even behind your back, but digitally, and then in a lot of cases publicly. And gosh, man, the online bullying has got to be absolutely insane. My daughter's going into 5th grade now, son into 2nd grade, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but it is absolutely crazy. The reality is that over 100 countries now have some phone restriction in schools, and here in the States, 42 states have adopted phone restrictions in place. And here's a really interesting study that came out of Florida last year that I think is worth taking a closer look at. And it's pretty interesting. So we're going to talk about it. And by the way, guys, if you have a topic that you'd like me to cover on the channel, I'm always looking for great topics, particularly that are related to AI technology and how it's impacting our ability to make money and raise families. So anyway, if you have a topic you think is interesting, you put it in the comments below. I'm first going to the people in the community. So guys, join the community, completely free for 30 days. Ask a question. If you like it, you can stick around. If not, you can bounce out. But let's take a close look at this survey, or this research. So last year, the National Bureau of Education ran a study to examine an all-day ban in a large Florida district. And what they found was phone activity dropped by 2/3. The test scores improved by 1.1%, which in and of itself is not huge. I mean, you would think that maybe it would be better than that. They also saw that unexcused absences declined. Also interesting, but this, I think, most fascinating line here. Suspensions increased by 25%. Basically what you had here is all the kids were completely crashing out because they took their phones away. I mean, have you seen these videos where a teacher takes a phone away from a kid and the kid just freaks out and starts beating her over the head with, I've seen a number of these videos. Maybe I'll start doing reaction videos to them because I think they'll get a bunch of views, but it's definitely a problem. And listen, I think a problem like education, you're not going to solve overnight. You can't just say, hey, well, no, we're going to reduce your phone use in school and all of a sudden the test scores are going to spike. I don't think that in and of itself is going to work. But after time, after repetition, after years of this, I strongly believe it's going to get better, and you're going to reduce the crash outs, right? If this kid has been taking his phone to school for years and all of a sudden you take it away, of course he's going to crash out. And gosh, man, I would hate to be on the other end of that fist, boy. That is not right. Anyway, a lot of states are following suit. California, Kansas City are collecting and locking phones away during school hours. Lock them up is what I say. Get them out. And kids don't have a smartphone. But the other problem is this. Maybe you don't want your kid to have a smartphone, but because everyone else has a smartphone, you get pressured as a parent to give your kid a smartphone. And by the way, have you given your kid a smartphone yet? Put it in the comments below, because I was at a sporting event the other day. I was talking to other parents, and a bunch of the other parents, we were talking about smartphones. A bunch of the other parents, we were actually the only parent that had not given their kid a smartphone. I was completely shocked. My kid is not even 10 years old at the time. I'm like, oh, your kids have smartphones? They're like, yeah, well, my kid needs it for communication. They ride the school bus, whatever. They need it for communication. And I was like, okay. I mean, personally, I grew up without a smartphone and I turned out fine. I was still able to get around okay. I grew up without a phone. But anyway, they say, well, we need it because we need to have communication with our kids. Okay, great. But you know what? I asked my daughter, I said, hey, these various kids have smartphones, like they say they're using it for communication. What are they doing? Like, oh, they play Roblox. I'm like, of course, obviously. Like, I just don't get how so many parents are completely disillusioned. You think you're giving your kid a smartphone to communicate, but all they're doing is playing Minecraft. What are you guys thinking? Are you serious? And by the way, you give it to just like we saw in that study, you give your kid a smartphone earlier, going to be harder to take it away from them later in life. Let's not get it twisted, boys. Giving young kids smartphones is the best experiment in the history of the world. We have never seen this many people exposed to this type of technology. We have no idea how it's going to turn out. And quite frankly, when you look at the educational information, it is not looking good. But it only gets worse, guys, because now you infuse AI into the mix. Kids don't even need to think at all. They don't need to think at all. Get this. We have a study here where in 2023, 13% of teens were using ChatGPT for schoolwork. Just 13%. By 2024, it had doubled to 26%. By 2025, it doubled again to 54%. So you've got double. And by the way, that lines up pretty close to how we're seeing jobs replaced by AI. Back in 2024, you had, 2024, 2.5% of jobs were replaced by AI. Last year, 5% replaced by AI. This year, over 20% of jobs were replaced by AI. I've seen some reports that saying 1/3 of everyone laid off this year so far has been replaced by AI. Let that sink in. And get this, guys, 59% of students said AI cheating is occurring in school. 41% were nerds and didn't have any friends, so they couldn't talk about it. No, I made that last part up. The reality is, guys, is that the amount of kids using their phones and using AI to cheat in school is absolutely enormous. And listen, the cheating is not the part that bothers me, because I think what a lot of kids don't realize is when you cheat, you're not like cheating the test, you're cheating yourself, because what happens is you get behind and then you can't keep up. And I've had a couple inflection points with my daughter, who again is 10, where she's doing great and then she has a bad grade. And if we get a couple bad grades in a row, like it's time, like the alarm bells are going up. We need to figure it out, because those bad grades, it's not just like, oh, I missed that topic, I'll get the next one. It's, no, I missed that topic. Now I can't extrapolate on that and learn the next topic. And a bunch of kids are going to completely left behind. On that same note, I'm not just going to avoid AI altogether. We're using AI for all kinds of stuff with my kids. I'm using it to help with work. I'm using it to devise new problems, new questions, worksheets. I'm using it to grade responses that they have completed. We're using it to generate images and all graphs, charts, all kinds of stuff. Because I recognize that AI is an important part of the world moving forward. To act like it's not would just be quite silly. And I want my kids to understand it, to use it, acknowledge it, and acknowledge it. There's two different approaches to using AI when it comes to this schoolwork. And again, guys, I'm a little off topic from what I normally cover. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you like this topic. But let's consider two students using AI. One student prompts ChatGPT and says, give me the answer to question number 7. Bomb, they type in the answer, they move on to the next one. Versus student B is, don't tell me the answer, ask me questions until I figure out question 7 by myself. That is a fundamental difference with using ChatGPT to learn and improve and get better versus another student who's using ChatGPT just to move on so they can go back to playing Roblox on their smartphone. So guys, this is a huge problem, massive issue. We're going into it in this next year. And frankly, just like I kind of talk about when it comes to jobs, like pretending this technology doesn't exist and digging your head in the sand is not the right move. The right move is looking at the situation that you're in and leveraging it and finding opportunities and options. And that's where I'm at with my kids. I want to know where you're at with your kids. If you like today's video, you know what to do. And I'll catch you in the next video, but I hope you have a great back to school. I hope it's productive and I hope you have a great school year. See ya, peace.